The red dust of Mars swirled around the small observatory, a lonely outpost on the edge of humanity's reach. Inside, Dr. Emily Dawson sat hunched over her console, her eyes fixed on the screen as lines of data scrolled past. She had been monitoring deep space for years, searching for something, anything, that might prove they weren't alone in the universe. Tonight, she found it. A signal came through, faint but unmistakable. At first, it seemed like random noise, the kind of static that filled the void between stars. But then patterns emerged, repeating sequences, bursts of information that didn't match any natural phenomenon. Emily's heart raced as she ran the data through filters and algorithms. It wasn't human, and it wasn't random. "Sarah," Emily called out, her voice trembling slightly. Lieutenant Sarah Blake, stationed at another terminal nearby, looked up from her work. "You need to see this." Sarah crossed the room quickly, her boots clicking against the metal floor. She leaned over Emily's shoulder, scanning the numbers and graphs. Her brow furrowed. "Is this real?" "It's real," Emily confirmed. "And it's not just a signal. It's a message." Together, they worked to decode it. Hours passed as the two women pieced together fragments of the transmission. When the final translation appeared on the screen, both froze. The words were simple, written in stark clarity. "Cease expansion or face annihilation." A chill ran down Sarah's spine. "Who sent this?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. Emily shook her head. "Not who, what, or where. Whoever, or whatever, sent this isn't from Earth." News of the discovery spread fast. Within hours, Earth's leaders were scrambling to respond. Emergency meetings were held in secret bunkers and secure rooms. Panic rippled across the planet as news outlets caught wind of the story. People gathered in streets and homes, glued to their screens, waiting for answers no one could give. Captain Ryan Cole watched the chaos unfold from his quarters aboard the starship Aurora *. A veteran of countless missions, he had seen fear before, but never like this. Humanity was staring into the abyss, and many wondered if it was too late to turn back. Ryan didn't believe in turning back. He stood tall, his broad shoulders squared as he addressed his superior officer via video link. "Sir, let me take the Aurora *, he said firmly. "Let me find out who sent this message and why." His commander hesitated. The risks were enormous, but so were the stakes. Finally, he nodded. "Permission granted, Captain. Assemble your crew and prepare for departure. This isn't just about finding answers. It's about showing whoever is out there that we're not afraid." Ryan saluted and ended the call. He felt a surge of resolve. Fear wouldn't save them. Only courage would. As he walked through the corridors of the ship, preparing to meet with his team, he repeated the phrase under his breath, almost like a mantra. "We're not scared." Little did he know, those words would soon echo far beyond Earth, carrying humanity's defiance into the cold vastness of space. Captain Ryan Cole stood in the briefing room of the Aurora *, staring at the faces of the men and women who would join him on humanity's most dangerous mission. Each member of the crew had been carefully chosen not just for their skills, but for their ability to stay calm under pressure. They were about to face something no human had ever encountered before, and Ryan knew they needed more than just training. They needed courage. Lieutenant Sarah Blake sat at the far end of the table, her sharp eyes scanning the room. She was one of the best pilots in the fleet, known for her quick reflexes and steady hands. Next to her was Dr. Daniel Hayes, a scientist with a reputation for solving impossible problems. His glasses perched low on his nose as he scribbled notes onto a tablet, already deep in thought about what they might find. Across from him was Corporal Jake Miller, a soldier whose quiet demeanor masked years of experience in combat zones. He didn't say much, but when he did, people listened. Ryan cleared his throat, drawing everyone's attention. "We've all seen the message," he began, his voice firm but calm. "Cease expansion or face annihilation. That's what they told us. But we're not going to back down. We're heading out there to find answers. and if necessary, to fight. Sarah leaned forward, her expression serious. Do we know anything about them? What they look like? How advanced they are? Ryan shook his head. Not yet, but we can assume they're smarter, stronger, and faster than us. Maybe even centuries ahead. Our job is to figure out why they sent that warning, and whether it's a bluff. Dr. Hayes adjusted his glasses, frowning slightly. It could be a test, he suggested. Maybe they want to see how we react. If we show fear, they'll see us as weak. If we stand our ground, maybe they'll respect us. Jake nodded slowly. Respect or not, we should be ready for anything. I don't trust aliens who send threats instead of greetings. The room fell silent for a moment as everyone considered his words. Ryan broke the silence. That's why we're here. To show them we're not afraid. To prove that humanity isn't just some reckless species playing with fire. We're explorers, builders, survivors. And we won't let anyone take that away from us. Over the next few days, the crew prepared for the journey. The Aurora was stocked with supplies, weapons, and cutting-edge technology designed to analyze alien life forms. Sarah spent hours running simulations in the flight simulator, practicing maneuvers she hoped she'd never have to use. Dr. Hayes pored over every scrap of data Emily Dawson had sent from Mars, searching for clues about the signal's origin. Meanwhile, Jake led drills with the security team, ensuring everyone knew how to handle themselves in a fight. As the launch date approached, tensions ran high. Some crew members whispered about the dangers ahead, while others tried to focus on their tasks. Ryan noticed the unease but didn't try to stop it. Fear wasn't the enemy. It was part of being human. What mattered was how they chose to act despite it. On the morning of departure, Ryan gathered the crew in the hangar bay. The Aurora loomed above them, its sleek hull gleaming under the artificial lights. This isn't just a mission, Ryan said, his voice echoing off the walls. It's a statement. When we meet these aliens, we'll look them in the eye, however many eyes they have, and tell them the truth. Humanity isn't scared. The crew erupted into cheers, their nerves temporarily forgotten. One by one, they boarded the ship, taking their places at consoles and stations. As the engines roared to life, Ryan took his seat on the bridge, gripping the armrests tightly. Out in the blackness of space, unknown dangers awaited. But for now, the Aurora surged forward, carrying humanity's hope and defiance into the stars. The Aurora sailed through the endless void of space, its engines humming softly as it carried humanity's hopes into the unknown. Days turned into weeks, and the crew settled into a routine. Lieutenant Sarah Blake spent most of her time in the cockpit, guiding the ship along the coordinates Dr. Daniel Hayes had calculated from the alien signal. Jake Miller kept watch over the security team, running drills and ensuring everyone stayed sharp. Captain Ryan Cole walked the corridors, checking in with his crew, offering words of encouragement when needed. Despite their preparations, unease lingered aboard the ship. Strange things began to happen, things no one could easily explain. One night, while monitoring the ship's systems, Sarah noticed flickers in the power grid. Lights dimmed for a split second before returning to normal. At first, she thought it was a glitch, but then it happened again and again. Something's messing with the ship, she told Ryan during their daily briefing. I've run diagnostics 3 times, and nothing's wrong with the hardware. It's like something outside is interfering. Ryan frowned. Could it be them? The aliens? Sarah hesitated. Maybe. Or maybe it's just some weird cosmic phenomenon we don't understand yet. Dr. Hayes had his own concerns. He'd been studying the data Emily Dawson sent from Mars, looking for patterns or clues about the alien species. But lately, he'd started experiencing strange dreams, vivid visions of towering figures made of light, speaking in languages he couldn't understand. When he mentioned it to Ryan, the captain wasn't sure what to make of it. It could be stress, Ryan said, or it could be something else. Keep me posted if it happens again." As the days passed, the anomalies grew more frequent. Lights flickered more often, and some crew members reported hearing whispers in empty corridors. Jake noticed that his tactical screens sometimes displayed phantom blips, targets that vanished as soon as he tried to lock onto them. The crew started whispering among themselves, wondering if they were being watched or followed. One evening, as Sarah sat alone in the cockpit, she felt a sudden chill. The temperature in the room dropped sharply, and the control panel in front of her lit up with symbols she didn't recognize. Her heart raced as she reached for the comm system to call Ryan, but before she could, the symbols disappeared, leaving behind a single word on the screen. Asterisk, asterisk, listen. Asterisk, asterisk. She bolted upright, her mind racing. Was it a message? A warning? She called Ryan immediately, her voice trembling slightly as she described what had happened. Ryan arrived moments later, his expression grim. "We're not alone out here," he said quietly. "Whatever's causing this, it knows we're coming." Dr. Hayes had a theory. What if these phenomena aren't attacks? He suggested. What if they're trying to communicate? We've seen how advanced they are. They might not think in terms of language or images the way we do. These disruptions could be their version of reaching out. Jake crossed his arms, skeptical. Reaching out, or messing with us. Either way, I don't like it. Ryan nodded. We'll stay vigilant. But let's keep an open mind. If they're trying to talk, we need to figure out how to respond. As the asterisk Aurora asterisk drew closer to the source of the signal, the crew braced themselves for what lay ahead. They were entering uncharted territory, where every decision could mean life or death. Fear gnawed at them, but so did determination. Whatever awaited them, they knew one thing for certain. Humanity wasn't backing down. The stars stretched endlessly beyond the ship's windows, cold and distant. Yet within the asterisk Aurora asterisk, there was a spark, a refusal to give in to fear. As Ryan stood on the bridge, staring out at the vastness of space, he whispered the words that had become their mantra. "We're not scared." The asterisk Aurora asterisk finally reached its destination, a distant star system bathed in an eerie glow. At the center of the system loomed a massive orbital structure, larger than anything humanity had ever built. It was shaped like a ring, spinning slowly against the backdrop of space, with sleek insectoid ships patrolling its perimeter. The sight filled the crew with awe and unease. "This is it," Captain Ryan Cole said, his voice steady as he addressed the crew on the bridge. "We found them." Lieutenant Sarah Blake guided the ship closer, her hands moving deftly over the controls. The alien vessels turned their attention to the asterisk Aurora asterisk, surrounding it in a tight formation. For a moment, no one moved or spoke. Then, unexpectedly, the lead alien ship sent a signal, a series of pulsing lights that translated into a single command. Asterisk asterisk halt. Asterisk asterisk. Ryan stood up straighter. Do they want us to stop? Or are they telling us to surrender? Dr. Daniel Hayes leaned forward, studying the transmission. It's hard to say. Their language doesn't follow any human logic. But I think they're curious about us. Jake Miller tightened his grip on the weapon at his side. Curiosity won't save us if they decide we're a threat. Ryan nodded. Stay sharp, everyone. Let's see what happens next. To their surprise, the aliens didn't attack. Instead, the lead ship transmitted another message. Asterisk asterisk doc. One will speak. Asterisk asterisk. They're letting us land, Sarah said, her voice tinged with disbelief. What do we do now? We go, Ryan replied without hesitation. This is why we came here. To talk, to learn, and to show them we're not afraid. After securing permission from Earth's command, the crew prepared to board the alien vessel. Ryan chose Sarah, Dr. Hayes, and Jake to accompany him, knowing they represented the best of humanity's strengths. As they stepped onto the alien ship through a glowing portal, they were struck by its strangeness. The walls shimmered as if alive, shifting colors softly. The air hummed faintly, carrying an energy that made their skin tingle. They were led to a vast chamber where a towering figure awaited them. Its body was translucent, glowing faintly, with limbs that seemed too long and delicate for its size. Its face, if it could be called that, was smooth and featureless, yet somehow expressive. When it spoke, it wasn't with words but with thoughts projected directly into their minds. Asterisk, asterisk, you are human. Asterisk, asterisk, the being said, its voice resonating in their heads. Asterisk, asterisk, why have you come? Asterisk, asterisk. Ryan stepped forward, his heart pounding but his voice firm. We came because you sent us a message. You told us to stop exploring, to stop growing. We don't understand why. Who are you, and why do you threaten us? The being introduced itself as Ambassador Kale. Asterisk, asterisk, we are the Valeth, guardians of balance in this galaxy. Your kind spreads recklessly, consuming resources, destroying ecosystems. If left unchecked, you will bring chaos to the stars, as others before you have done. Asterisk, asterisk. Dr. Hayes frowned. But we're not like that. Humanity strives for progress, yes, but also for understanding. We don't seek destruction. Kale tilted its head slightly, as if considering his words. Asterisk, asterisk, progress often leads to ruin. Your short lives blind you to consequences beyond your years. Tell me, humans, how will you ensure your survival does not harm others? Asterisk, asterisk. Jake clenched his fists, struggling to keep his temper in check. Are you saying you'll destroy us just because we might make mistakes? That's not justice, it's tyranny. Ryan held up a hand to silence him. He looked Cal in the eye, or where its eye should have been, and spoke clearly. We're willing to listen, to learn. But we won't let fear dictate our future. If you want peace, we'll work toward it. If you choose war, his voice hardened, then know this: humanity fights back. For a long moment, Kale was silent. Then it gestured for them to follow. Asterisk, asterisk, come. There is more you must see. Asterisk, asterisk. As they walked deeper into the alien ship, the crew exchanged uneasy glances. They had made contact, but whether it would lead to peace or conflict remained uncertain. Whatever happened next, one thing was clear: humanity's defiance had been heard. The crew followed Ambassador Kale through twisting corridors that seemed to shift and change as they walked. The walls pulsed faintly, like a living organism, and the air grew heavier with each step. Despite their unease, Ryan kept his focus sharp, watching Cal closely for any sign of hostility. Sarah stayed near him, her hand resting on the hilt of her sidearm, while Jake brought up the rear, scanning every shadow. They arrived at a large chamber filled with glowing screens and floating holograms. The images displayed maps of star systems, timelines, and species, some familiar, others alien. Kale gestured toward the displays. Asterisk, asterisk. This is our history, asterisk, asterisk, it said, its voice echoing in their minds. Asterisk, asterisk, we have watched civilizations rise and fall. Many sought power, consumed resources, and destroyed themselves, or were destroyed by us. Asterisk, asterisk. Dr. Hayes stepped forward, studying the holograms intently. You've wiped out entire species, just because they expanded too far. Kel's form shimmered slightly, as if offended. Asterisk, asterisk, not all growth is good. Some must be stopped before their mistakes endanger others. Asterisk, asterisk. Jake scowled. And who decides that? You? Sounds like you're playing God. Ryan shot him a warning glance but turned back to Kale. If you think we're reckless, why not talk to us instead of threatening us? Why not give us a chance to prove ourselves? Kale paused, its translucent body flickering. Asterisk, asterisk, because most do not listen until it is too late. Asterisk, asterisk. While Ryan continued to question Cal, Sarah wandered closer to one of the screens. Something about the data caught her eye, a pattern she didn't understand at first. She leaned in, squinting at the symbols and numbers. Then it hit her. These weren't just records of destruction. They were medical scans, genetic profiles, and energy readings. Her breath quickened as realization dawned. "Captain," she whispered urgently, pulling Ryan aside. "I think I know why they're so afraid of us." She pointed to the screen. "Look at this. It's not just about expansion. It's about survival. Their biology. It's failing. They're dying." Ryan frowned. "What do you mean?" "They're assimilating other species," Sarah explained. "Taking their DNA, their technology, their life force. That's how they've survived for so long. But now, even that isn't enough. They see us as a threat because we're strong, adaptable. If we don't submit, they'll try to take what we have." Ryan's jaw tightened. This changed everything. The Valeth weren't just guardians. They were predators, using fear to control others. He glanced at Jake and Dr. Hayes, both of whom had heard Sarah's revelation. Anger burned in Jake's eyes, but Ryan shook his head slightly, signaling caution. "We need proof," Ryan said quietly. "Something we can show Earth and the galaxy. If we expose them, maybe we can turn this around." Dr. Hayes nodded. "Let me access their database, if I can extract the right files." Kale suddenly turned to face them, its form rippling with agitation. Asterisk, asterisk, "You seek more than answers, asterisk, asterisk," it said coldly. Asterisk, asterisk, "You seek defiance. Asterisk, asterisk." Before anyone could respond, alarms blared throughout the chamber. Red lights flashed, and the hum of the ship intensified. Jake immediately moved to shield the group, his weapon drawn. "We've been made," he growled. Ryan acted fast. "Hayes, get those files. Sarah, find us an exit. Jake, cover us." The crew sprang into action. Dr. Hayes frantically worked at a nearby console, fingers flying over the controls. Sarah scanned the room, spotting a narrow passage leading out. "This way," she shouted. As Jake fired warning shots to deter approaching Valeth guards, Ryan kept his eyes on Kel. The ambassador watched silently, its expression unreadable. For a moment, Ryan wondered if there was still a chance for diplomacy, but then he remembered Sarah's words. The Valeth weren't interested in peace. They wanted domination. "Got it," Dr. Hayes yelled, holding up a small data chip. "Move," Ryan ordered, and the team bolted toward the exit. Behind them, the Valeth closed in, their weapons charging. The crew knew they had struck a nerve and ignited a war. But as they raced back to the asterisk Aurora asterisk, one thought burned in their minds. Humanity wouldn't go down without a fight. The crew of the asterisk Aurora asterisk burst onto their ship, hearts pounding as alarms blared around them. Jake slammed his fist on the control panel to seal the airlock just as Valeth guards reached the other side. The alien figures pounded against the door, their glowing forms pulsing with fury. Ryan wasted no time. "Sarah, get us out of here," he shouted, already sprinting toward the bridge. Sarah slid into the pilot's seat, her hands moving swiftly over the controls. The engines roared to life, and the asterisk Aurora asterisk shot forward, breaking free from the Valeth orbital structure. Behind them, dozens of insectoid ships gave chase, firing beams of energy that narrowly missed the hull. "They're gaining on us," Jake yelled from his station, where he monitored the tactical displays. "We can't outrun them forever." Ryan clenched his jaw. "Then we make a stand." Dr. Hayes hurried to the main console, inserting the stolen data chip into the ship's system. "If I can broadcast this information across the galaxy, everyone will see what the Valeth really are," he said, typing furiously. "But it'll take time." "How much time?" Ryan asked sharply. "At least 10 minutes," Hayes replied without looking up. "We might not have 10 minutes," Jake muttered, watching as more enemy ships joined the pursuit. Sarah pushed the asterisk Aurora asterisk to its limits, weaving through asteroid fields and debris in an effort to shake their pursuers. Explosions lit up the void as energy blasts struck nearby rocks, sending shards flying past the ship. The crew held on tight, bracing themselves for impact at every turn. 5 minutes. Hayes called out, sweat dripping from his brow. Almost there. Ryan turned to Jake. Prepare the EMP. If they get too close, we'll disable their systems long enough to finish the upload. Jake nodded, his fingers dancing over the weapons panel. EMP ready. Just say the word. The Violet ships closed in, surrounding the Aurora like a swarm of angry insects. Their weapons charged again, and this time, one blast struck the ship's rear thrusters. Alarms screamed as smoke filled the air. We're hit, Sarah cried, struggling to keep control of the damaged vessel. I can't hold them off much longer. 3 minutes, Hayes shouted, his voice strained. Ryan gripped the back of Sarah's chair, his mind racing. They had come so far. They couldn't fail now. Jake, fire the EMP. Jake pressed the trigger, and a pulse of energy surged outward, momentarily disabling the enemy ships. The sudden silence was deafening as the Violet fleet drifted powerless in space, but Ryan knew the effect wouldn't last long. 1 minute, Hayes yelled, his eyes glued to the screen. It's working. The signal is broadcasting. On the bridge, the crew watched as images and data streamed across their monitors. Proof of the Violet's crimes laid bare for all to see. Civilizations destroyed, species assimilated, lifespans extended through theft and violence. Humanity's defiance echoed alongside the truth. The Violet weren't protectors. They were conquerors. As the final seconds ticked away, the Violet ships began to recover, their weapons charging once more. Sarah pulled the Aurora into a desperate evasive maneuver, narrowly avoiding another barrage of fire. It's done, Hayes exclaimed, slumping back in relief. The message is out there. Everyone knows. Ryan allowed himself a brief smile before turning to Sarah. Get us home. With renewed determination, Sarah guided the battered ship toward Earth, leaving the stunned Violet fleet behind. Though the battle wasn't over, humanity had struck a blow, not with weapons, but with truth. And as the Aurora disappeared into the stars, Ryan repeated the words that had carried them this far. We're not scared. The Aurora limped back to Earth, its hull battered and scarred from the battle with the Violet. As it entered the atmosphere, streaks of fire illuminated the sky, drawing the eyes of millions below. News of their return had spread quickly, thanks to the message Dr. Hayes had broadcasted. Humanity now knew the truth about the Violet, and they weren't afraid anymore. Captain Ryan Cole stood on the bridge, watching as the blue-green planet grew larger in the viewport. His heart swelled with pride and relief. The crew had faced unimaginable danger, but they had done what no one thought possible. They had exposed the Violet's hypocrisy and shown the galaxy that humanity wouldn't back down. When the ship touched down at a military base, crowds gathered to welcome them home. Soldiers, scientists, and ordinary people lined the runway, cheering and waving flags. Reporters shouted questions, their cameras flashing like stars. Ryan stepped off the ramp first, followed by Sarah, Jake, and Dr. Hayes. The weight of their mission settled over them as they realized how much had changed while they were gone. World leaders met them inside a secure briefing room. The mood was tense but hopeful. You've given us a fighting chance, one official said, his voice filled with gratitude. But the Violet won't take this lying down. We need to prepare for retaliation. Ryan nodded. They'll come for us, but we're ready. Humanity has never backed away from a challenge, and we won't start now. Over the next few days, Earth united in a way it never had before. Nations set aside their differences to work together, pooling resources and technology to defend against the inevitable attack. Factories churned out weapons and ships, while scientists raced to develop new ways to protect the planet. The message Ryan and his crew had carried, "We're not scared," became a rallying cry across the globe. True to Ryan's warning, the Veilith arrived weeks later. Their fleet filled the skies, darkening the sun as they descended upon Earth. But humanity was waiting. Fighter jets screamed into the air, armed with weapons designed to counter the Veilith's advanced technology. Ground forces stood ready, prepared to defend every inch of their world. The battle raged for days, lighting up the heavens with explosions and energy beams. The Veilith fought fiercely, but they hadn't anticipated humanity's resilience or its unity. Slowly, the tide began to turn. With each passing hour, Earth's defenders pushed the invaders further back until, finally, the Veilith retreated. As the dust settled, Ryan stood on a hill overlooking the battlefield. Around him, survivors tended to the wounded and mourned the fallen. It had been a costly victory, but it was theirs. He looked up at the stars, knowing this wasn't the end. There would be more challenges ahead, more threats lurking in the vastness of space. But humanity had proven something important, not just to the Veilith, but to itself. "We're still here," he said softly, echoing the words that had carried them through the darkest moments. "And we're not scared." Back on Earth, life began to rebuild. The scars of war remained, but so did the hope that humanity could face whatever came next. People talked about exploring the stars again, not out of fear or conquest, but out of curiosity and courage. Ryan and his crew became symbols of that spirit, reminders that even in the face of overwhelming odds, humanity could stand tall. In the years that followed, Earth reached out to other civilizations, forging alliances based on trust and mutual respect. The galaxy learned that humanity wasn't just a species, it was an idea that refused to give up, no matter how dark the night. And so, under the watchful gaze of the stars, humanity took its first steps toward a brighter future, one where fear no longer ruled, and the words "we're not scared" echoed forever among the cosmos.